fact-checking, misinformation, and press freedom. Keynote speaker is Professor Christopher Rhodes of Harvard University and columnist with Al Jazeera. The conference chair is UNIMAG Vice Chancellor, Professor Eric Opoku-Mensah. This virtual conference will take place on the 15th and 16th of July 2026. Be a part of the conversation shaping the future of media.
On PM Express, power is confronted, claims are tested, and accountability is not optional.
The first 2 months in office between January, February, and March, we had already brought down this rate, and then we have sustained it since.
Politics, business, the economy, social justice. If it affects your life, it will be examined. If it shapes your future, it will be interrogated.
You ever sitting there today, you see me sweating, I'm answering your question, you in the comfort of your chair, putting all these questions to me. That is why you would not have the responsibility of bringing about this document.
No safe spaces for evasion, no comfort in half-truths, just facts, pressure, and the courage to stay with the question until the answer comes.
Your word says,
my words were,
those on Compact Plus, you pay $570 and you get more channels.
Evans,
that moves you.
This is the speech.
To
the speech I read yesterday is what I'm holding here. You didn't read the speech. You didn't write it. I wrote it and I read it.
Because democracy demands scrutiny and the public deserves clarity. When the day's noise fades and the nation needs understanding, there is PM Express on Joy News. Independent, fearless, credible.
Same script, different dates. Accra's floods. We're here again to tell you about properties lost and unfortunately lives as well. Once again, counting the cost of heavy rains as flooded streets, stranded commuters and submerged homes disrupt life across parts of the capital. Today we focus on the unfolding flood situation, the emergency response, the impact on residents and businesses. This is Joy News, your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. My name is Gemma Appiah and this is The Pulse.
In a world where truth is contested, platforms are powerful, and democracy is under pressure, what shapes the story? The University of Media Arts and Communication, through its School of Journalism and Media Studies, invites you to the State of Journalism, Media and Communication Conference 2026. Theme: Navigating the Future, Journalism, Media and Communication in a Dynamic World. Join global thought leaders, including the Vice-Chancellor of UNIMAC, Professor Eric Opoku-Mensah, Rector Professor Christiana Hammond, and Professor H.A. Sikankun, Dean of the School of Journalism and Media Studies, Professor Gregory Gonwi, Associate Professor at California State University, Juliet Amwa, Country Director, Emerging Public Leaders, Ghana, Kune Adebajo, Investigations Editor, Professor Abena Enimwa Yeboah Bain, Dean, School of Information and Communication Studies, University of Ghana, and Ryan Kellett, 2025 Neiman Beckman Klein Fellow at Harvard University, for 2 days of powerful conversations on AI and the future of journalism, journalistic professionalism in Africa, media democracy and civic culture, fact-checking, misinformation and press freedom. Keynote speaker is Professor Christopher Rhodes of Harvard University and columnist with Al Jazeera. The conference chair is UNIMAC Vice-Chancellor, Professor Eric Opoku-Mensah. This virtual conference will take place on the 15th and 16th of July 2026. Be a part of the conversation shaping the future of media.
We were living in one of the pavilion behind. Later that we had this new building. Then we now moved to the new building.
You did a lot. They have come here and asked us, and they have continued our 6-unit classroom building.
A lot has changed. After documentary, we had 60 tables and chairs, then a 10-bedroom teacher accommodation.
We have never been fair to these young children. The children are suffering. We applied for school feeding, which will have also helped to increase the enrollment.
The impact has been great in terms of enhancing duty bearer responsiveness, in terms of responding to the infrastructure needs, in terms of teacher availability. We are seeing that there's progress.
We were living in one of the pavilion behind. Later that we had this new building. Then we now moved to the new building.
You did a lot. They have come here and asked us, and they have continued our 6-unit classroom building.
A lot has changed. After documentary, we had 60 tables and chairs, then a 10-bedroom teacher accommodation.
We have never been fair to these young children. The children are suffering. We applied for school feeding, which will have also helped to increase the enrollment.
The impact has been great in terms of enhancing duty bearer responsiveness, in terms of responding to the infrastructure needs, in terms of teacher availability. We are seeing that there's progress.
Welcome to the Pulse. Hours of heavy rains have left parts of Accra underwater, submerging roads, homes, businesses and vehicles, with reports of destruction to lives and property. The worsening situation has forced the Minister for the Interior, Muntaka Mubarak, to appeal to persons who have not yet left home for work or school to stay indoors. We'll bring you the details of the Minister's appeal shortly. But first, listen to some victims describe their ordeal in videos shared across social media.
How many minutes?
2 hours, 30 minutes.
2 hours, 30 minutes?
Yeah.
More than 2 hours?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the episode is 2 hours, 30 minutes. We have got 3 hours.
Wow. I didn't see that.
At all, so I'm not going to pass after 1 week. I quite say, Ghana drivers there as you once.
Yeah.
So make drama me no about there. Then you have a wow. We the man say, I'm over. As a come for one line. Come on the factory. Sorry.
What kind of? What kind of? What kind of? So many melody.
Nyina yire man fa atale kra me de asola no se shop so ayire me wo shop odo na market baby a ehye ti bibia ehye na wo ben ho na me ben ho me jankola no wo inside se me ko shop wo aba me ba ye no me fi ho no ma me ba ni se na janitor ho no ti na me di wo ho no ma se na janitor market ni the city is almost 4 hours 5 hours ago fire service kra anya kwan inside the pona wa du me janu me dem ho aye to me shop wo so bibia say atali e se me afo ma ta wo no baby na e se me ti no ituma bibia
what was the feeling like mo ho no
yeah, access to the place. Yeah, inside no. Yen to me no. Send your son baby do no. It's yen to me pie. It's when no boat na buy no. Na to me abel school kwala any mothers there 3. But I didn't send it no. In so no talk kitchen. It was na. Who do say? And to me
it's more than money na
baby me nke
eti lucky ayaya ni say ye fie ho no abansu onti ya fru ekopto but ye dem wo down there ayema
nsimpo awe mu ni na mo wo
ni ye wo fie ho a ni nyina we mu ni na fie
iso ye kuye ye nyama nyina ahye iso sa afa ye nyama nyina ye pe boat di akosisa nkofo na omo iso ni mu no boat member mi na mi wo ho mi ye fi o nyina mi ma fo omo nyina wo so iso no ye ti nkofo a omo enti ye
se o mba no den na omo wo he fa
omo wo so iso na yiri ba bia omo ti ni isi fom
Let's touch grounds with our reporter Stephen Mensah, has just returned from Circle and joins me in the studio with more. Stephen, you were at Circle earlier today. Yeah. Tell us, what did you see?
It's a worrying situation when you get to Circle. So the first you notice will be these vehicles will be moving from Circle to Medina, to Suhum, to other parts of Accra or the other parts of the country. All these vehicles have been submerged in water. So you notice that these vehicles have water inside them, and some of them actually are in the engines. And per what the drivers have told us will be that they will not be able to move for quite some time, and they are scared this may affect them negatively because given the volumes of water they are seeing, it's going to be difficult for the water to subside quickly enough for them to move their vehicles. In fact, we spoke to some of the drivers and they say that they didn't expect this much volume of water at the bus terminal, because some of them, the ones we spoke to, tell us that they came from Suhum to Accra and they were just expecting that the water would subside for quite some time and then they'll move back to Suhum or to Kumasi. But then with the current volumes, they're unable to move. When you get to Circle from the overpass, you'll notice that just one stretch of the road that's moving currently, and that stretch is moving from the Circle overpass beneath it all through to Adabraka, moving towards Accra. One other thing you also notice will be you see individuals currently standing on this overpass because they can't move down because of the volumes of water there. We also notice that some of these individuals are housed at the top. Some of them are in story buildings and they are currently at the top because beneath or down their stories is water, so they are unable to move down again. One other thing, interesting thing you'll notice when you get to Circle will be some of these bus conductors and their drivers are sitting on top of their vehicles and enjoying a meal.
How did they get the meal?
For that, it's quite interesting because you will not notice any food vendor around, in and around the place, but then you will notice them enjoying a meal. And it's just interesting because all these individuals are telling us, and they are telling us different parts of how this is happening. In fact, we tried moving through this water to experience it and to talk to them to understand the severity of what they are facing.
How deep is the water? So when you were standing there, what level was the water at?
So when we moved through the water, it was close to my waist.
Waist level?
Waist level. That's how deep the water is. And whilst moving through, these individuals, these are the drivers and the bus conductors, they tell us that we shouldn't get close to the gutters because it's quite dangerous.
But were you able to figure out where the gutters were?
So we're moving with the aid of another individual. That's one of the bus conductors was ahead of us. And he'll be the one to tell you, don't move towards the side.
Okay.
Lean towards the middle. Lean towards the inner parts of the road. And this inner part of the road is the IPMC stretch, the IPMC Vienna City stretch. And it's just such interesting because some of these individuals tell us that June 3rd, that's the twin disaster. It happened at the same spot where there was water and there was fire. But this time, it's just water. And this water was to our waist level. And they're just telling us that we should be careful because they have open drains along the stretch. So if you are not too careful, you just fall in the drain, and then that may be a big catastrophe to you.
Were people moving in these flood waters? Because earlier we heard from the government, from the Interior Minister, for people not to be moving in these flood waters, stay somewhere safe. Were they moving in the flood waters?
Yes. And I just want to say these individuals were actually the ones giving us confidence to move in this water. Right. Because they tell us that, we have to move towards the side to be able to get our wares sold. To be able to get to a safe haven, we have to cross over to the side.
To get their wares sold?
Yes.
So they were moving there to sell?
Yes. So we saw some of these individuals.
Were people there buying?
Yeah. So some of these individuals who have been displaced are standing under shops, and under some canopies, under some shops, and they are just sobbing, thinking of where they will sleep next. So some of these individuals would want to buy something to eat. We've seen some people selling water, some selling these local pastries. These individuals are there selling. So they try to move from the circle overpass to the other stretch, heading towards Atabraka, just to get their wares sold so other people can engage them. And they are the ones giving us the confidence that we have to move. So whilst they are moving, we are following them. And it's quite worrying because the current of this water is quite deep. It's very deep, if I must say. Because you try moving your leg, and because of the current of the water, it moves your leg to a different position. So you think you are placing your leg at a different stretch, and you are moving towards a different stretch also.
I'm curious to know whether there were officials of NADMO there trying to stop people from moving in these flood waters, or they were there rescuing people, taking them from that situation to a safer haven.
Okay, so from where I was positioned, that was the new plant station close to the Circle bus terminal, the Trotro station as you may call it. We didn't notice any of these emergency services present there. Right. However, when you get close to where the fire incident was, you'll notice the Ghana Police Service on site, you notice the Ghana National Fire Service on site. In fact, we saw the MCE for Kwali Klote. He was also present there, and he's been telling us that he would want a briefing from the services, the emergency services, before the acts. And we tried moving from the bus terminal, we moved all through to the new plant station to the Awudume stretch. And in the morning, when we reported at the Awudume stretch, two vehicles were stuck and submerged at that stretch. However, in the afternoon, when we returned back there again, you notice that this number had doubled, and these vehicles were all stuck there. One other thing you also notice will be the new plant station. And these buses that will be moving from Accra to Takoradi or to Kumasi were all submerged in the water.
Stephen, stay with me. We'll come back and continue this conversation, but we're talking about the current situation in the Greater Accra region. Homes have been submerged. There are several properties that have been lost. We are also learning that some people have died as a result of the flooding situation in the Greater Accra region, and we'll bring you all the latest on this and exactly what the Minister for the Interior has been telling us about how to keep safe under these circumstances. This is still Joy News and The Pulse. You're watching The Pulse. So hours of heavy rainfall have left large parts of Accra underwater, with rescue teams still searching flood-hit communities. As the rains begin to ease, the scale of the devastation is becoming clearer. At least 3 people have so far been confirmed dead. Let's head to Alajo now, where my colleague Fatal Bayaga is standing by. NADMO has just retrieved a second body from the area. Fatal, give us the latest.
2 people have lost their lives at Alajo, and it's through electrification at that particular area. What we understand is that the people were inside their rooms when the flooding intensified, and basically they were electrocuted in their rooms. So as I speak with you a few minutes ago, NADMA officials, with support from the local residents, they've been able to, take their dead bodies to, we are told that they've been taken to the Mamobi Polyclinic at the moment. So it's been a very serious situation. A lot of homes submerged in flood waters. People are still counting their losses. In fact, some of them they're telling me that they don't know where to sleep tonight because of this particular situation. Even those who were taken to safe havens, we are told that some people were taken to a church. The church itself, within minutes, was also inundated with flood waters. So it's been a very serious situation across the Alajo enclave here, and for many of the people, it's been a very serious situation. The pain, the struggle was palpable on their faces as they tried to scoop water from their rooms and also counting their losses. Some of them mattresses, other equipment in their rooms, all of them drenched because of this flooding situation. And I have just received information that another person, so the people who have lost their lives as far as this flooding situation is concerned are now 3 people. 3 people have lost their lives from this particular situation. So this will tell you how severe, how serious this particular issue is. And in fact, one other place, the places that we've gone to, one other thing that appears to be glaring is the electricity installations. And we have the acting MD of the ECGs to talk to us about how this particular flooding has affected their operations here in Accra. Thank you very much, sir. You are live on Joy News. Talk to me about this flooding situation. What is the level of destruction for your company?
Right now, thank you very much. Right now, we cannot say that anything has been destroyed, because we took preemptive measures to put the power off when the flooding was threatening the substation. In fact, it's not only the substation. We have 5 bulk supply points in Accra. They are the points where ECG takes power from the national transmission grid. This is the first one, and this one supplies a lot of the critical loads that we have in Accra. So it supplies 37, supplies UGMC, it supplies the University of Ghana itself, University of Professional Studies, 37, Burma Camp, even Parliament House is supplied from here. And so Jubilee House is supplied from here. So this is a very important infrastructure. But when it was threatened this morning, you can see the flooding, you can see the water here. The water level was up here and threatening to get into the substation here. And you know, water and electricity, they are not friends. So we had to take preemptive measure to put the power off. And so we have protected property. But the most important reason we did this was to protect life, because electricity gets into water, it means people will lose their lives. And so not only at the substation, but also out, because our lines were going down because of the storm, the rain, our lines were going down. So we needed to take that preemptive precautionary measure. And we did it here. Malam, we have the second bulk supply point for Accra. And we had to take that one also off, because the drain behind the substation was getting flooded, and the entire substation was flooded. Our control room was flooded. So we had to again take preemptive measure to put the power off. So property has been protected, our infrastructure has been protected. We will have to assess and see whether water has gotten into critical areas, but we are doing that right now. And we are working with Gridco So soon we'll be restoring power to Malam, and after Malam we will come here. So we are here to assess the extent to which water has gone into the substation. We are here to assess that, and we've seen that the water has receded to the level where we can restore power. We will restore power to the high grounds first, and then as we monitor the situation, we will decide to restore to even the low grounds where. No, but we want to be sure that our lines are not down before we restore power.
I've seen some of your officers working behind us. What are they trying to do here?
So this substation, you can see that a lot of the feeders, the lines that take the power to customers are underground. And so we have trenches and we have a basement here. The cables go into the basement before they go up into the switchgear. There is still water in the basement, so they are here to pump the residual water from the basement. No, but the level is such that we can restore supply.
So areas that have been heavily affected, like Alajo and all of that, how do you intend to manage such places?
Yeah, so this substation supplies Alajo. And as I mentioned, we are monitoring to be sure that no line is down before we restore power to Alajo, the Alajo area.
So at the Alajo area, about 3 people were electrocuted, and at the moment they are dead. I mean, how do you manage the situation so that in terms of heavy flooding, we do not experience things like that?
So we have to assess the situation at different levels. If you are in your home and water is getting into your home, the safest thing to do is to go to the main switch and turn it off. And the main switch is high enough for you, so you can turn it off. But if the water is getting to the main switch, the best thing to do is to leave the home and find safety somewhere. When the flooding is extensive, then we can take the measures we took this morning, but it affects a lot more people. So we only take this drastic measure when it has become, let me call it, there's no other way to manage the situation, and the impact will be great. Then we will take this huge measure. But in the local areas, we will advise. In fact, we have been sending out information booklets on how people can manage in situations like this. So what happened today to these people, because in their homes, water had gotten into where the sockets were, and that's what happened. And we are really sorry about that. But the major, when it affects a large area and major customers, then we are forced to take the action we took today. I must say that we normally do not have this kind of experience. This is one in a long time, once in a long time that you have flooding to the extent we had today. And the clouds are still out, so we will continue to monitor. And when we think that life is threatened, we will take another action like this morning.
So the assurances that you're given right now is that nothing of your equipment are not destroyed at the moment, and you're assuring customers that you are monitoring the situation, and if it's appropriate for you to put the lights on, you will do that.
Let me say that we have not yet ascertained any damage to our infrastructure. Not yet. We are now going through the substations and assessing the individual panels and see whether an individual panel has been affected. And if that happens, we will not put power in that. Okay, but the majority of our customers will have power this evening.
Thank you very much. So that is Kwame Pepana. He is the acting managing director of the Electricity Company of Ghana, obviously monitoring the situation here. This is the Station H Achimota bulk supply point of the ECG, and they are here to monitor the situation. He says that you should assure that they are monitoring all the developments. If there's no major distraction, you should expect light back in your homes. So this has been the situation here at Alajo and its environs. But at the moment, I've just received information that the Marine Police have been deployed to the Alajo proper to help with evacuation and rescuing of some of the people who are still affected by this particular situation. So we would get to appreciate all of that later. But this has been the situation here. Fatal Bayaga for Joy News, Alajo.
So let's move to the other part of Alajo. Evans Mensah, senior editor here at Joy News, is with the Marine Police for us to get more of the situation. Evans, what can you report? Hello, Evans, can you hear me?
In Alajo Drain, you can see that it's currently filled wash this morning, and that obviously, if you were here earlier in the day, it had overflowed. You could actually see now that somehow the water has now managed to move the debris, and this is happening as I speak to you. Since we've been here, I've been talking to the Marine Police, looking at that and saying we need to get some equipment to move it. But the rain, the water itself, as you can see now, is moving and dragging all the debris that was stuck under the main Alajo overpass, if you like, completely towards the shore, because all this ends up in the ocean somehow. And if you can see it, this is a huge and was stuck under the bridge for a while, and now all being dragged out, if you can see in your shot there. And this is exactly what the Marine Police is here to help with, because some of the communities, the Odo River because of evacuation. And I saw that they have deployed their men here, and he's here with me. We are all watching this unfold. DCOP Raymond, thank you. All over Accra today, trying to help with the situation. You just arrived here. I saw your men. What's the plan, having seen the destruction at the level of the flooding in this area?
Yeah, so the first intervention that we made was to ensure that all the areas that were flooded, we had a number of men there. That is Chadu, Klagon, Tema Newtown, Bawe, and then Weja, and Alajo here and Circle. As we speak, we've been able to rescue at Chadu about 15 children and over 10 adults. We handed those people over to Lekman District, Assam. The NANMO is handling them. Those was that in most of these areas, people climbed to tall buildings and stayed up. Okay. And we advised them to stay there until the water went down, while those who were on low grounds, we managed, together with the military and fire service, bring them out by use of the kayaks, ropes, and also the drones help in monitoring where the danger was. But as you could just see, most of the issues that we are seeing are as a result of indiscipline. I think going forward, we are not just living in here, but we have to go to communities and educate them. A lot of education, in addition to enforcement, will have to be done to ensure that the coming rains, we are able to manage it. We are also advising people who are in some of these areas, in the very low areas, to probably relocate. And I think we are just not living here after this exercise. We are still observing. As you can see here, the water is now down.
Yeah.
So we will still observe, and we'll let our men be on standby. We are in full coordination with the military, the fire service, and then the NANMO.
And surveying the area, getting a better eye view of what is happening in the Alajo area. But behind us, I see the Odo River is completely flooded. And when you get closer to the Alaji overhead, the part that goes to the industrial area, I see that it's flooded. What are you doing there? Because I see that the force of that movement of the flood is so quite severe.
Yes. The most important thing now is we have the men there to ensure that people in danger are immediately rescued. We are also, in addition to the headquarters that we are seeing, deploying drones to also quickly let us know where there is danger. The other thing that we are doing is to get our contacts to people. And some of the calls go to headquarters, they relay them back to us, and we are able to move. So as we speak, we have a team still standing by our circle to intervene.
I mean, the first principle of rescue is that you yourself must be safe.
Sure.
Before you can rescue other people. What are you seeing with your men making sure that they are safe? Because the water level is high, the force is strong. Whilst you rescue, you're keeping your own self safe. What are you doing to ensure that happens?
Yes. So we have a lot of life jackets in our vehicles.
I see you're wearing one yourself.
And so men who are already on duty or who are at home and want to go to duty, we hand over life jackets to them. And going forward, the headquarters, the Inspector General of Police and POMAP are making arrangements to ensure that all personnel who will be on duty are given life jackets. So in the event that the flood cut them up while they are on duty, they will be safe before they even go in to support other people. And those who cannot swim, definitely, they'll be safe with the life jackets before we go into support them.
And it's important to note, you mentioned earlier that from what we can see with our eyes, the flood waters appears to have subsided here in Alajo. The drains now seem to be doing the job because it itself pulled the refuse and the debris which was stuck and preventing the flow and moving it all the way. The problem is it will create another problem downstream because they just the sheer amount of debris we saw, it's unimaginable. It's significant indeed. And downstream, you can see that people downstream may also have their own challenge with that. It's going to block some other part of the waterway.
And you can see that as a result of indiscipline.
Yeah.
And so going forward, a lot of education and enforcement will have to actually be done. So communities will ensure that when they see some of these things, they report. If you sit down and look and think that it really doesn't matter to you, when this day, imagine you are in town, you have gone to work, and then you are caught up in this. Your area where you stay might be safe, but just imagine that you be caught up.
Yeah.
And so everybody must take it as a duty, as a citizen, to report when you see things that are done that will cause, especially at this when it rains heavily.
Safe to say that you are not going to be deploying just yet into Alajo, although you're monitoring. You're monitoring.
We already have men on standby here. We have men at Bawe and then Wager. We have men as we speak at Circle with kayaks and with life jackets, and we still have the Klagon and the Tamatim start Klagon and then the Chad. We went there to support them with the military, and we have just come back here to see what is happening, and then we will be going around. But the teams that are deployed will remain close to the flooding areas.
And tell me, based on what you've seen so far since you began this operation, which areas were worst hit, most affected areas, would you say?
In fact, the most dangerous areas, Alajo, Klagon, Chado, that is Pillar 2, then Wager, and that is getting to Bawe area. And then when you come to between Circle and then Caprice, because of the debris and other materials that it carries from the workshops, it looked very, very dangerous. Because it even made it difficult for us to move the small boats in. And even difficult to use the kayaks because you wouldn't know where some of these things will emerge, and then you are stuck in the middle. So that made those places dangerous. And you can see the top here. Yeah. The water came as high up on the road here.
Yeah, we can see where we're standing that this particular drain had overflown its banks all the way onto this particular part.
So you really need officers who can swim. And And we are glad to say that members of the public, especially young people who know how to swim, came in to support.
We helped.
We had a lot of people around Chado who came in with ropes to support us. And I think it is that cooperation that the public gave that gave us the confidence and the strength to do what we have been able to do. And we thank God that in those areas, we've not registered casualties.
Have you registered casualties anywhere else?
I think with allergy here, or is it car price? Yes, due to electrocution.
Yes. Okay.
But those at Chado were able to save them.
Okay.
We took a lady who had asthma, yes, and was trapped in the room. We were able to rescue her and send her to the hospital.
Okay.
And I think after the time we were leaving, she was recovered.
And you said that in Chado, you rescued 15 children and 10 adults.
And more than 10, we are close to 23 total.
18 children?
Yes.
Okay.
They had all moved into a one-story building. And so after the rain, after the water came down, we went and moved all of them out and handed them over to the Legma District Assembly.
Okay.
And so going forward, when the flood comes, other people who are living in high buildings should assist those on low grounds to at least keep safe there with them. I think that is why Chado did to save a lot of lives.
A lot of lives. And it's been forecasted that the rains will not stop. Throughout the day, it's going to be intermittent, as we've seen. Your men obviously are going to be around the clock. But for those who are still in low-lying areas, because you see people are still carrying their wares from your room. When I was driving by, I saw what appears to be people walking towards the side where they're carrying things from there. I don't know whether they're going to the police shelter that have been created for them, but what's your advice for people? If you're still trying to clear your debris from your room, trying to move out, it's still going to be raining intermittently. What do you say to them?
It's important that you consider your life first. And so people on lowlands, low areas, should as much as possible move and stay with relatives. Those who do not have people to move to, the community leaders are there. They should quickly get them. And I think community leaders should also make it a point to assist these people out. We know there are some people that we've been moved into their house and asked them to leave. And we had to force them out.
People didn't want to leave. They were staying in the house.
To leave.
I see.
We're even in the waters trying to take their TVs and all that, which have even submerged in the water. And
life is more important than the television.
Important. Even some with baby, 3-month baby, and they are inside the water. So I think community members, community leaders should also come out and urge their members to go out, because the police, the military, the security services will not be everywhere. And so it is left onto the public, community leaders, to also help by way of talking people out of low areas that are likely to be affected by this flood. Because we don't know when the huge waters will be coming again.
And when I saw you, one of the things I saw is that you had boats. What exactly are you deploying, apart from men, obviously?
So we have the drones to monitor where the danger is. We have the kayaks, which can easily move in no matter how low the water is. We have the boats, but because of the outboard motor, where the water is low, it cannot go. And so we have to take those who can swim to move in. I'm glad to say that the counter-terrorism was deeply involved.
I see.
Because they are, trained to also support. And we had the SWAT on patrols that also had to go to the low water areas to support. And fortunately, the headquarters is also monitoring on the cameras that are in town and using the emergency lines, receiving information from people and getting back to us. Throughout the whole morning up to now, former members are at the headquarters calling us and directing us to where there are challenges. And I think it is that will continue to help us to be able to save more lives.
And thank you. And I can see your men in the background there who are doing a great job. You need to commend all of them. If you're watching us, these are the men risking their lives to save all of you out there, and including ourselves, journalists who are out there doing our jobs. and they deserve commendation. And that is why you need to move, they say, to a higher ground if you find yourself in a low-lying area, because the rains are not stopping. They are ready to save you, but don't put their lives and yours at risk by continuing to stay in an area that will put your life at risk. And I want to quickly show you what you're having to deal with here. And Gemma, if you can see in the background there, that is the main Alajo drain, which has been carrying this water. If you were here a couple of hours back, this drain will be overflowing. When we got here, indeed, it was choked with debris. Under the bridge you see there, and I'd see if it can get you closer. The bridge you see there, the debris had stuck under it, completely blocking the path of the water. The water was forcing its way through. It then managed to move it and cleared it completely, which is why you now begin to see the water flowing. And the talk about indiscipline, we'll have that conversation later. But right now it's about saving lives and making sure that the officers with me here can also go back to their wives and their families, right? At the end of the day, when they're done with their jobs. DCOP, thank you very much for great work you're doing and for your men who'll be going around across the capital to ensure that they are safe. Yes, Gemma.
I wish you a safe day.
You too.
Thank you very much, Evans Mensah, reporting from Alajo, where the Marine Police have been deployed to save lives and properties if they can. And we are told that 18 children at Chado were rescued by the Marine Police. Stephen Mensah is still here with me. Stephen, at Circle, earlier today, we also got reports of a fire incident. Yeah. Tell us more about it. What happened?
So what we understand will be this fire will be at the Roma market in Circle, and this close to the Addo River. And for more indications, we've got the security agencies, that's the Ghana National Fire Service. We also noticed the MCU for Kwali Kloti, and most of these security personnel all moving towards the site to ensure that this fire is doused. However, when we got to the scene, what they told us was that they were unable to move closer to the fire incident because there's a lot of water around the stretch, so they can't move closer to that side. So they were waiting for some of these equipments the Marine Police were talking about, the boats, to move across to that side of the stretch of the water and to the market to douse the fire. You notice when you get to that, there are two things. A lot of water there, and some of these personnel or some of these residents who were living close by, see, the fire service was inactive in ensuring that this fire is doused. We noticed some of the traders who ply their trade in the market crying. We spoke to some of them and they tell us that they are losing their wares, they are losing their money, they are losing their livelihood because everything they have is in the market and the Ghana National Fire is not doing anything to douse the fire. We also noticed that there was a gentleman who was trapped in the market and he had his animals, that's his horses, trapped in the market. So he moved back inside and tried to move them out, that's the horses out of the water. And with the aid of the police and the Ghana National Fire Service, they were able to bring them out. One other thing also would be the Ghana Police Service were there, and they had these ropes tied around their waist, and they were trying to find a way to move closer to the incident, to the fire incident, to try and draw people who were trapped inside in the market or close by out of the market. So they are tied, and they are trying to pull themselves out, or anyone who's trapped inside.
Go now to Wager SCC area where another person has been found dead after today's heavy rains. Maxwell Agbagba is there for us. We understand the victim was discovered naked, although authorities are yet to establish whether the death is directly linked to the flooding. The body has since been taken away by city authorities. Maxwell has been moving through some of the hardest hit communities and joins us now via Zoom. Maxwell, tell us what you know so far about the body that was found at the Wager SCC area.
Well, some of the residents who I've been speaking to, tell me that they found the body very close to a big drainage system here at the Wager XCC. Now, they are unable to tell whether this person got drowned by the flood waters. But one thing they say is that the body was completely naked. The victim was naked. But you're unable to tell whether the person was carried away by the flood or the body was dumped there when the rain started. So it's something that the residents want clarity on. And city authorities and personnel of the Ghana Police Service have been at the scene, and they say that investigations will commence to determine what exactly happened. But what you can see right now, these are live pictures from the Accra-Takoradi Highway. Now, this is the main Accra-Takoradi Highway. What you can see right now is the Accra-bound section of the road. Now, both the Accra-bound section and then the Takoradi-bound section have been blocked to traffic. Now, many of the people we have been speaking to tell us that they have been in traffic for more than 10 hours. A man who I spoke to earlier, Eben Amano, told me that he had been stuck in this gridlock for 10 hours. Now we can see some of the vehicles moving. That just about 30 minutes, 1 hour ago, no vehicle was able to move. It was a complete standstill, and that was because the perennial dumping of silt and flooding of the XCC section, which you can see in your picture right now, was beyond controllable levels, rendered this whole section of the road, about 1 kilometer of the section of the road, completely impassable. So commuters, many of them, some of them in VIP buses, got stuck at this section of the road from 4 o'clock a.m. and they were unable to move. It was a complete standstill. They couldn't do any detours, as well. What you're seeing now is a watered down version of what we experienced when we arrived here earlier on the ground. Now it looks like the water has receded and the cars are able. And the cars.
So that was my colleague Maxwell Agbagba giving us a report from
sorry about that. So what I'm showing you right now, sorry about that. What I'm showing you right now is the Wager XCC section. So this is the part of the road that brought traffic on this important highway to a complete standstill. And let me say that it wasn't a gridlock. It was complete standstill with no vehicles able to move. And some of these intercity STC coaches that you see, VIP buses, some of this bus you're seeing in the picture right now from our neighboring country, Côte d'Ivoire, all of them were stuck, standstill. Many of them tell me since 4 o'clock a.m. So more than 10 hours. It is now that the water level has receded, and they are able to move. Even that, it's a bit of a struggle because you can see silts still in the middle of the section of the road. The other section of the road, completely impassable. So many of the vehicles have had to use this stretch of the road. This stretch of the road originally is the Kaswa-bound section. This is the western-bound section. So if you're going to Kaswa and its environs, Kaswa, Cape Coast, Takoradi and its environs, this is the stretch that you use. The stretch in your picture right now, where you can see the police officer standing. But that has been blocked right now. What you have is a portion of what you have is some vehicles that are going to Accra and its environs, now using one lane of it, and you have the police officers directing the traffic. But in the past 30 minutes, in the last 30 minutes, it was chaotic here. Up from dawn, up from morning till afternoon. Now commuters are seeing some kind of improvement on this stretch. And all of this, I'm saying, is just now happening in the last 30 minutes. It's been a chaotic situation here, Gemma.
Good to know that the traffic has been easing at Wager, but you've also been to other areas where there are some issues of floods as well. Maxwell, which other areas did you visit, and What was the situation when you went there?
Well, the situation remains terrible in different parts of the Greater Accra municipality. Where you can see right now, I want to point my camera there so you can see many homes were completely submerged. And these were not flooded homes. They were completely submerged. Many of them buried. You couldn't see the ceiling of those structures. But now that we've seen the water levels receding, some of the buildings, at least you're beginning to see the window levels of some of the structures here. But the main issue in this municipality has been this road, the FCC section of the Accra-Takade Highway, which has seen perennial dumping of silt. Anytime it rains, it gets flooded. And today is one of the days that we've seen one of the worst flooding of this particular stretch. Even as we want to believe that the flood water has receded, we can still see flood on the eastern bound section of the road. It's chaotic here, Gemma. Let me try and see if I can speak to some of the people here. Hello, sir. Sir, what's your name? Solomon. How long have you been here? No. How many hours have you been here?
Yeah, hours.
Yeah. 5 hours. Are you a resident or your car is stuck? Your car is stuck. Where is it? So where are you going right now? You're going to Accra, but you're unable to move because your car is stuck.
The car is stuck here.
For 5 hours. Okay. So how do you intend getting back to Accra? Are you seeking any help?
We are waiting for that the car can. Because of the trailer, we are waiting.
Okay. Thank you for talking to us. So what you can see now is traffic gradually easing. All of these cars in your picture right now, your frame right now, on your television screen right now, we're all stuck on this road. It wasn't bumper to bumper traffic. It was a standstill. The car had to park in the middle of the road. Passengers walked to nearby restaurants to grab food. Some of them slept on the buses. They had no choice because the car simply couldn't move. And just like you see, it took a lot of effort to get several of the cars stuck in this field here.
Maxwell, I see a number of people in your shots standing there and looking on. Are they waiting for vehicles to move from where they are? Are they residents? Who are they?
So, for those you can see there in the background, many of them are commuters whose vehicles are still behind that traffic. So as you can see, those cars are now moving. So when the cars get to where they are, we're going to stop for them, to get on board. But like I mentioned, in the past 30 minutes, all of these cars were stuck. It was a complete standstill. No vehicle was able to move. Many of them I interacted with told me they were stuck in traffic for 10 good hours. Traffic was brought to a complete halt on this Accra busy Accra Takade Highway. Trucks carrying cargo couldn't move. But now we see the situation gradually improving. But even when the flood recedes, it's a double whammy problem here on the stretch, Gemma, because what is going to happen now is even after the flood recedes, authorities are going to have to deal with the silt, with the heavy silt that has collected, on this road. As it stands now, I can't I can't see any bitumen. I can't see any asphalt. Nothing of that sort. It is silt, mud, flooded water that has taken over more than a kilometer of this busy corridor. And even as you see these vehicles moving, many of them are SUVs, right? So if you don't have a four-wheel drive, it will be difficult. It will be difficult to go through this flood water. And you can see this is a bus that has been stuck here in this, and this is the road, actually. This is the main Accra-Takoradi highway at the XCC junction. Like I said, I can't see any asphalt at this point. It is the silt, it is the mud, it is the flood.
That's my colleague Maxwell Agbagba reporting from Weja SCC. Thankfully, the traffic there has been easing in the past 30 minutes. Vehicles are moving one after the other, thankfully. Well, the Ghana Armed Forces has also deployed men of the 48th Engineer Regiment to carry out rescue situations. Let's go on Zoom now and speak to Lieutenant Colonel Frank Amponsa. He's the commanding officer of 48th Engineer Regiment for some updates on the situation. Welcome to the Pulse. Tell us what your men have been up to since morning.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me first and foremost extend my greetings to you and then your cheerful listeners. As I said early this morning, the heavy downpour of the rains and its attendant flooding situation in the general area of Accra necessitated our deployment to multiple areas. Currently, we have deployed teams at various locations, precisely Lashibi, Kragon, where we have been able to rescue 15 people. We also deployed at Community 20, where our activities led to the rescue of 10 people. Community 17 and 18, we were able to rescue 5, and the situation within these areas I've mentioned remains relatively calm. Bush Road has also experienced the flooding situation with 11 people rescued in the general area. Other areas also include Chadu, which is an area that suffered the heavy effects.
I am Anas Sabit on the principal streets of Tichiman, and this is Joy News. Independent, fearless, and credible.
Did you know that some videos circulating on social media falsely claiming to be from Joy News and advertising some drugs are fakes?
Rescue an estimated, 23 people. The rescue operation is still ongoing. So I must say that we have deployed in these flood-prone areas and made significant efforts or gains so far as our response operations are concerned.
And well done there, but have you, or can you confirm any deaths so far? The areas that you have visited, you've rescued a number of people, but have anybody lost his or her life in these areas?
There is no loss of life in the areas where we have conducted our operation so far.
The number of people you've rescued, where are they now? Are they still under your care, or you've left them at the areas?
So our focus was to rescue them from the incident areas to safer areas. And so we have left them. They are not currently with us in our unit, but we kept them at safe areas within the affected areas. So they are okay because the water level has receded, and I'm sure by now most of them can even go back to their homes.
Paint a picture for us. So when you move in to rescue people, typically under what circumstances or conditions are they in?
Distress condition.
What exactly do you mean by distress?
Well, people become alarmed with the level of the flooding. So people push for safety of their lives. So that is the situation they find themselves in most cases. And therefore, we aim to save lives. That becomes our primary focus. So generally, people become more anxious, people become more, concerned with the safety of their lives. People become so uncomfortable in those kind of situations, and therefore it is normal for people to find themselves in such situation. So our focus always aim at saving lives, and that is what we focus on.
Are you still on the rescue mission?
Yes, as at now, we have withdrawn to the unit. We are reorganizing ourselves, monitoring the weather conditions for possible deployment to other areas should the rain reoccur.
Do these people, the affected people, reach out to you, or you go on some monitoring mission and you discover them before you offer your services to them?
It's both. So we have identified flood-prone areas like Chado, Cantonment, Kragon. These are areas we know to be flood-prone areas. So whenever it rains, we deploy our team for assessment and subsequent deployment of the rescue team for the rescue operations. Others, we also receive significant number of calls from people who are in distress situation, and that necessitated our response action to those areas. So it's a combination of our assessment and then the distress calls we receive from individuals.
You say that you've withdrawn to the units at the moment. At what point will you go back?
No, so we are currently on standby as we receive distress call, because as I said, we have been on operation from 05:30 until 1300 hours. It is necessary for us to reorganize our resources, reorganize the team to be on standby to respond to any distress call. So as I said, currently we are the unit. We are reorganizing ourselves in terms of our personnel, our logistics, to be able to respond timely to any distress call that we are likely to receive.
You've been to several areas. Several areas. What's your assessment of the situation in the Greater Accra region?
Well, so far as the areas we have been to are concerned, I would say that those areas currently remain calm. No loss of lives. We've been able to make significant gains with the rescue of people, and I would say that the situation remains calm, but the fact remains that most of the areas within Accra are flood-prone areas, and these rains have further exposed the severity of the whole issue, and therefore it is imperative for all of us to be aware of the rains and then its attendant flooding situations, to take some precautionary measures until the military deploy in collaboration with other sister security services.
What would be your advice to those living in these flood-prone areas?
Yes, my advice to them is to continuously monitor the rains, continuously monitor the situation, identify possible safe areas, and make sure that anytime it rains, at least they should contact us if they find themselves in such distress situations or conditions. This morning I shared on my number with you and our operations number, our house room number with you, and I'm sure you also disseminated it. So a lot of the people have our contact numbers, but like I said, resources not infinite. They are limited in terms of our personnel and the needed logistics for our operations. So as a unit, we continue to make significant effort to respond to areas, but we cannot cover all areas. Therefore, it is imperative for people to monitor the situation, be wary of the weather condition, monitor the weather forecast, and take some precautionary measures prior to the arrival of the military should there be any flood in those areas.
We're grateful for your time. Lieutenant Colonel Frank Amponsa is Commanding Officer, 48th Engineer Regiment. In studio with me is my colleague James Aveji. In the last couple of hours, there are several state institutions that have been releasing some statements to give us updates on the situation in Accra and how to stay safe. James, let's start with the Greater Accra Regional Coordinating Council.
Exactly. So it's been statement from the lower level all the way. I've just seen a statement by Jubilee House, the official Facebook handle of the presidency.
Right.
Also, but we can start with that coming from the Greater Accra Regional Coordinating Council, signed by the Greater Accra Regional Minister herself. And it says that the Greater Accra Regional Coordinating Council is deeply concerned about flooding that has occurred in several parts of the region following today's heavy rains. And let me quote verbatim, "My heart goes out to all individuals and families who have been affected by this unfortunate incident. I sincerely sympathize with those who have suffered losses, displacement, and other hardships. And I want to assure every affected resident that you are not alone. We stand with you during this difficult period. Now, the safety and well-being of every resident remain my highest priority. And I have therefore directed all metropolitan, municipal, and district chief executives to immediately move into their communities with their emergency response teams, NADMO officers, and all relevant technical officers to intensify rescue operations, evacuate persons trapped by flood water where necessary, assess the situation on the ground, and provide immediate relief to affected residents. Every MMDC is expected to remain fully engaged until the situation is brought under control. This is a time for decisive leadership and swift action. And the Greater Accra Regional Coordinating Council is working closely with the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, the Ghana National Fire Service, the Ghana Police Service, and all other emergency response agencies to coordinate response efforts and ensure that lives and property are protected. The statement goes on by the regional minister to state that the Ghana Meteo has indicated that more rainfall is expected, and so I therefore urge all residents to exercise extreme caution to avoid unnecessary movement. Where possible, remain indoors and keep away from flood-prone areas, drains, and fast-moving flood water. I particularly appeal to parents and guardians to ensure that their families, especially children, are kept safe at all times. No one should allow children to play in flood water to attempt to cross flooded roads and drains. And so that's the assurance that's been coming from the Greater Accra Regional Minister. And so with this statement, we believe that it is a clarion call, an order to all MMDCs to be on the field. Earlier, we saw pictures coming from the Ayawasu West Wuogon constituency where John Dumelo himself has been on the ground, where we learned that a tree fell around the East Legon area, and he was there with his team to clear the road off the tree that fell and blocked the road. And so that's what the Greater Accra Regional Coordinating Council has been doing. I must also say that, earlier in the morning, the Interior Minister spoke to us exclusively and told us about his appeal for all citizens who haven't left home to remain in the house and not come out. They've been following up. I just received an SMS that was named Interior Ministry just a while ago on my phone, which means that they have decided to disseminate the information in other ways so that it can reach other Ghanaians as well. For those who do not have access to internet service, and it reads, important alert, with the long hours of continuous rain, several areas are experiencing severe flooding, and please stay indoors if you are in a safe location. Do not attempt to cross flooded roads, whether on foot or in vehicle. In case of emergency, you can call 112 or 0302 964 884, 0302 964 884, and they would come to your rescue. And so that's an SMS I received on my phone tagged the Interior Ministry. The presidency, as I said earlier, is also speaking to the matter on their Facebook page. And in fact, they have been giving some caution in terms of using road as well as using electricity. There's a diagram indicating to do some picture communication to drum home the communication proper. And it says that the presidency urges all residents in affected areas to remain vigilant and strictly adhere to safety advisories as heavy rainfall continues to cause flood in parts of the country. Stay indoors if you are in a safe location. Do not attempt to cross flooded roads, whether on foot or in a vehicle. If your home is being inundated, move immediately to higher ground and call 112 for emergency assistance. It goes on to say that motorists are advised to avoid flooded routes, including the Malam Kaswa Road, Alajo, and Graphic Road areas. Turn around if you encounter flood waters and seek a safe, elevated location. The public is also advised to unplug electrical appliances and stay away from electrical poles, transformers, and falling power lines. Your safety is paramount, and please follow official updates and emergency activities. So that's the precaution coming in from the presidency as well. It comes with three diagrams talking about those using car. If it says that floodwaters can hide open drains and wash away roads. Just 6 inches of water can store a car, and 2 feet can sweep an SUV away. It goes on to mention the areas you should and also demonstrate the potential electrocution if there's power in your house in a flooded area, and for you to stay safe. So those are the various releases that has been coming in the last few hours that we've been talking. The Electricity Company of Ghana and GRIDCO have also been issuing a statement. In fact, it was a joint statement that came out earlier in the morning talking about the fact that they have to take off power in the Malam and Achimota primary substations due to the flooding situation in the area. They noted that as the day proceeds and the water or the rain begins to subside and the flood waters also decrease, the ECG and GRIDCO would assess the situation to ensure that it is safe to restore power. If they realize it is safe, then they will bring back power in those areas. And so what it means is that if you are in any of the Malam, Achimota areas and you get your power from those substations and you are currently experiencing light out in your area, it is intentional in order to protect yourself and other residents who may find themselves in flooding situations. The ECG is assuring from this statement that they would restore power immediately it is safe to do so. And so you need to bear with them as they try to protect lives and properties. You spoke with Fatal Bayaga, who has been interviewing the acting director, managing director of the ECG, also indicating they're assessing their situation and see how things would unfold. And so that's what we've been hearing from the various state agencies as well as the presidency themselves in the last few hours. If I have some more time, I must add that the Ghana Health Service has also been speaking on this matter, and in fact they are picking the health angle of it, urging people to exercise hygiene even as we experience flood in these times, because these are the times that cholera and other waterborne diseases can spread pretty fast amongst people as we try to maneuver our ways. And it is a public health alert on the onset of rains and associated risk on the 29th. and they provided safety protocols or preventive measures for the public to follow. They said you should keep your surroundings clean and free from containers that can collect water. You clear bushes around your homes and ensure all foods are thoroughly cooked before consumption. It also applies to vegetables that must be cleaned thoroughly, and you wash your hand. Because there is flood water, you must not say that because your hands look clean, you can go ahead to eat with it. So those are some of the updates that have been coming from.
Really simple. Your safety is paramount. We will take a break now. We are back with more. Please stay.
Did you know that Ghana spends more than 8 billion Ghana cedis annually importing food that can be produced right here at home? That's why the Joy brands, in partnership with the Federation of Associations of Ghanaian Exporters, FAGE, are bringing you Joy Agribusiness Month 2026 under the theme From Soil to Sovereignty, Building Ghana's Agricultural Self-Reliance Through Innovation. Join us on the Joy Super Morning Show, Joy News, Joy Prime, and across Joy Business platforms for a month-long national conversation on Ghana's food security and agribusiness future. Since the beginning of June, we have engaged policymakers, industry leaders, researchers, agripreneurs, and development partners, exploring government policy, trade, and financing for food sovereignty, highlighting research, innovation, and mechanization. We have also examined infrastructure, value addition, youth participation, and agricultural financing as critical drivers of sector growth. In week 4, our focus turns to vast opportunities across Ghana's horticultural value chains. The final week looks at consumer power and Ghana's roadmap to food sovereignty by 2030. Stay tuned to Joy FM, Joy News, and Joy Prime. The Joy Agribusiness Month 2026 is proudly sponsored by Agro Monte Company Limited. We understand Agric and Ghana Commodity Exchange, trade, storage, financing, all in one place. That's GCX, powering Africa's commodity markets.
Welcome! You know the drill. We must be at our very best. Every second of every day.
Big, small, brave.
Tell me you're good at this.
The best, outrageous.
Guess what? We need to kick us up a notch. Cheers,
Lights, camera.
That was great.
It's your call, Couch Director.
What are you going to do about it? And action.
Because you're not just watching.
This is real life.
You're calling the moments.
Back into this game.
Backing your favorites. Reacting loud.
The fat lady singing.
Across our stack of movie channels, we bring the blockbusters. You bring the vibe.
Show me who and what you're made of. I've got this.
So pull in for a movie or 3. Sound off on the socials and stay connected to GoTV.
What a rush.
Where you don't just watch movies, you love it.
In a world where truth is contested, platforms are powerful, and democracy is under pressure, what shapes the story? The University of Media Arts and Communication, through its School of Journalism and Media Studies, invites you to the State of Journalism, Media and Communication Conference 2026. Theme: Navigating the Future, Journalism, Media and Communication in a Dynamic World. Join global thought leaders, including the Vice-Chancellor of UNIMAC, Professor Eric Opoku-Mensah, Rector Professor Christiana Hammond, and Professor H.A. Sikankun, Dean of the School of Journalism and Media Studies, Professor Gregory Gonwi, Associate Professor at California State University, Juliet Amwa, Country Director, Emerging Public Leaders, Ghana, Kunle Adebajo, Investigations Editor, Professor Abena Enimwa Yeboah-Bain, Dean, School of Information and Communication Studies, University of Ghana, and Ryan Kellett, 2025 Neiman Beckman Klein Fellow at Harvard University, for 2 days of powerful conversations on AI and the future of journalism, journalistic professionalism in Africa, media democracy and civic culture, fact-checking, misinformation, and press freedom. Keynote speaker is Professor Christopher Rhodes of Harvard University and columnist with Al Jazeera. The conference chair is UNIMAG Vice Chancellor, Professor Eric Opoku-Mensah. This virtual conference will take place on the 15th and 16th of July 2026. Be a part of the conversation shaping the future of media.
On PM Express, power is confronted, claims are tested, and accountability is not optional.
The first 2 months in office between January, February, and March, we had already brought down this rate, and then we have sustained it since.
Politics, business, the economy, social justice. If it affects your life, it will be examined. If it shapes your future, it will be interrogated.
You ever sitting there today and you see me sweating, I'm answering your question, you in the comfort of your chair putting all these questions to me. That is why you would not have the responsibility of bringing about this document.
No safe spaces for evasion, no comfort in half-truths, just facts, pressure, and the courage to stay with the question until the answer comes.
Your word says, my words were, those on Compact Plus, you pay $570 and you get more channels.
Evans,
that moves you.
This is the speech.
To
the speech I read yesterday is what I'm holding here. You didn't read the speech. You didn't write it. I wrote it and I read it.
Because democracy demands scrutiny and the public deserves clarity. When the day's noise fades and the nation needs understanding, there is PM Express on Joy News. Independent, fearless, credible.
Welcome back. This is still The Pulse, and we have been bringing you updates of the flooding situation in the Greater Accra region. Let's go to the phone line now and speak to the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Linda Oklu, to give us more details on the situation in Accra. Welcome to The Pulse. You earlier released a statement cautioning people and also directing MMDCEs within the Greater Accra region to move out and ensure that people are safe and properties are also secured. Which areas have you visited yourself?
Thank you so much. Good afternoon to our cherished viewers and listeners. Let me first of all sympathize with the affected people so far, and we can assure them that they are not alone. As Regional Minister and RCC Regional Coordinating Council, myself with all the MMDCs, we are behind them, and we make sure that whatever is lost, at least whatever we can do to recoup or to replace part of it, we are ever ready to do so. Myself today, I visited the school, I also visited Weja, and we also went to what do we call it? Osu Enclave. I mean, that place, there's a name there. And so that was where my team, myself, Nadmo, and then 48 chiefs, that was where we taught this afternoon.
What's your assessment of the situation in the areas you visited?
Honestly speaking, today flooding, in fact, for the first time, I'm so sad because I've not seen such, heavy downpour that the entire region is flooding. And looking at the number of people and houses submerged, and then properties that are lost, people that are displaced, honestly speaking, this is my first time of witnessing such, and I really sympathize with them. And like we said, this were caution from Ghana meteorologists. They already told us that they'll be having a downpour, heavy downpour, which Nadmo himself has educated the public about the outcome of the downpour. So already we are aware. In fact, tonight myself, Admo, and then the liaison officer from the region, we were with the meteorologist. And so they gave us enough details of the happenings. I mean, so we were there around 8 o'clock, and they told us from 10 o'clock there will be a heavy downpour. So we were expecting that from 10 o'clock onwards. So it wasn't something that it took us by surprise. We were already expecting it. And NADMO, if you watch NADMO's, Facebook wall, they keep on updating the public as to the happenings. I mean, what will be happening in the next few days. So if people are being careful, they can also take guidance from the post that NADMO. In fact, not everybody has this WhatsApp phone, so we've asked them to educate the people more, or they should come down to the district, which they have NADMO district office. They should let the people know as to the expectations, what we'll be expecting in the next few hours. So it's something that we weren't surprised. It didn't take us by surprise, but we were, looking at the level of displacement and the properties lost. That was where we were not really, anticipating that will happen, but it has really happened. So, it's part of, these are natural disasters. You cannot do anything about it.
You mentioned that Meteo warned us that a day like this was coming. As the Regional Coordinating Council and the head of the council, what measures did you put in place to ensure that we don't record the level of damage, destruction, and deaths that we are recording today?
Yeah, honestly speaking, like I said, it came when we received the news. We start at the red set. The police were in the known water fire service. We asked them to be positioned at some vantage places, NADMO, what have you. All the security apparatus were very much aware. And the public, like I said, NADMO also cautioned the public. I believe they also released a statement from the office, which is the region. The regional NADMO office also released a statement cautioning public about what will be experiencing ahead of us. And so members should be extra careful. And in fact, we stated the danger places. For instance, some of the heavy, where we started the heavy downpour, it was scary. And so what we did, especially with Wager, was that because if there is a downpour, heavy downpour, definitely the dam, there will be a spillage. And so what we told them was that they should make sure that they go to a safe ground so that we wouldn't have much, disaster like we experienced previous. And so these are some of the measures, we put in place. And we also, advise the MMDC to do much of the silting, dredging along the drains within their localities, which we have pictures to show. This time around, I can say that my MMDC are really doing so well. They are doing so far so good because we have pictures daily. We monitor them of their silting, dredging, and doing all sorts of sanitation among their localities, so that at least we wouldn't have much disaster like we experienced. And so I could say that perhaps it's because of the measures, some of the measures we put in place. That is why we've not had any casualties so far. Though we have disasters, that was managed and thankfully state engineers, the armed forces, the fire service, everybody was on board, was at the advantage places, making sure that they save lives and property. Are you getting me? But we've not recorded any casualties so far.
The 3 people in Alajo have been confirmed dead.
Where?
3 people in Alajo have been confirmed dead following the rains.
That was when I was here. We received the news about 30 minutes ago that 3 people have been confirmed dead. But we are waiting for the reports from NADMO since they are coming from there. That is why I didn't want to speak to that, because I don't have details with me to speak to that effect. And so that is why I didn't want to. But I would say that so far so good. I mean, the team has really done so well.
Well, you are talking about the work that your team has done, NADMO, the MMDCEs, dredging and all of that. Yet we are seeing this level of damage, and you talked about it earlier, that you haven't seen such levels of damage and destruction before. So
yes,
the work that you say you have done so far, how does it show when people have died because of floods, homes destroyed, properties destroyed as well, and the heavy vehicular traffic on some of our major roads? So really, the work that you say you've done, how can you show, where can you show that? How does it show?
My dear, the fact that we've worked, and there are still people's houses are being flooded, people's houses are being submerged with water. What are these? You know, you and I know very well that, in fact, before it gets flooding in Greater Accra, there are a lot of houses that have been built on waterways. A lot of gutters that are being choked. Daily, we have daily reports of people dumping refuse into gutters. We have reports of Rasta site, wetlands being taken over by residents, by people. That is what I'm saying. The last time I watched Lila say on radio, it says drip machines, and we cannot stop it. And so we have, a table that, in fact, the last time we met Western Housing together with their team. There was this picture, that from Hydro. They gave us an overview of Accra, and how wetlands has been taken off. People have built on wetlands. How our drains have been filled with people have filled the drains, the heads everywhere. The water will settle. People have filled there and built their houses. And so, my dear, we reclaim all this back. The fact that we are dredging, we are doing all sorts of things, doesn't mean that we really have flooding. Definitely there will be flooding. But for that, we all come to the table and agree that yes, indeed, where you build, it's a local area. So this building must be demolished. And if we all accept this, trust me, we can mitigate flooding in Greater Accra. But until that, because don't forget, the demolition exercise we've done, that we've not even done even quarter of what we expected to do. We've not gotten where we have to get to. We've not got, even though we are trying to create buffer, but we've not gotten where we are to. And so until we come back to the drawing board, knowing very well that what we built is a wrong place, my dear. We'll start flooding. So this is caused by us. And it's not the government. The government cannot, you cannot blame the government, my dear. And you cannot blame RCC. You cannot blame any MMDCs, because in as much as we are doing our best to mitigate flooding, there are also rules against it that we must be guided to. Are you getting me? There are also rules, yes.
So government is not to blame for the flooding situation we're experiencing in the Greater Accra region. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That the fact that we are doing our best to mitigate flooding in the region, it doesn't mean that we can stop the Greater Accra, because we still have houses that are being we have our wetlands that has been taken off.
But that's your responsibility to ensure that these houses in wetlands are demolished and it doesn't cause the level of destruction we are seeing now. That's your responsibility, not so.
That is what I'm saying, that yes, in as much as we are doing our demolition exercise, that's what I'm saying, that we've not gotten to where we have to get to. The building on the system. You see that this building is sitting on a drain. This is there. Are you getting me? But the buildings are there. And so we come back to the drawing board and make sure that all these buildings are up. So yes, we can mitigate it, but not entirely. Not entirely. We will do our best We will keep pushing our MMDC to also do their desilting and dredging. We will do our sanitation policy personally to make sure that people doesn't dump refuse into drains and gutters. But like I'm saying, it won't stop flooding entirely. And so, my dear, we do a lot of demolition exercise.
A lot of demolition exercises.
Exactly.
Do I still have you, Lindo Clue?
Yes, I'm on the line.
Right. So you talked about people building in wetlands, but these same MMDCEs are the ones giving the building permits for them to erect these buildings, and they are causing so much damage. How many buildings have you? Do you have a report of the number of buildings that are in wetlands, and how many of them have you demolished?
Honestly speaking, Hydro is working on them, and very soon will come out with a fix. Those that we demolished and those we are yet to demolish, I don't have it. I cannot mention the number of buildings that have been demolished so far, because I don't have it here. I don't have the figures with me. But Hydro is on it, and very soon, like I said, we will come out with the findings and the solutions. If we all accept, knowing very well that your person is causing the flood, you still allow that they shouldn't do a demolition and that the building should be there. And so that when you agree to that, when there's flooding, you wouldn't come back blaming the government. And like you said, yes, this permit, like you said, has been, in fact, it's not our regime. When you check, the permits were given to them before we assumed office as ministers and as MMDCs. In fact, some of the people who even claim they have permits, you go there, you tell them, okay, give us the permits and let you know, so that that person who issued the permits, who be sanctioned or who fails the law, they are not ready to release the permits. And so you could see that majority of them doesn't have permits. Those who have the permits were from the previous government. And when we check, some of them are even no more with the permits. And so there's nothing we can do. But those currently at their permits, like I said, all the permits we have so far are not from this regime. They are from the government. Just the Excellency has stated it clearly. If any MMDC in NDC government issue any illegal permit, he knows the consequence. And so if you allow yourself to be used by someone giving that person an illegal permit, you know the consequences. And so you desist from it. And so this issue about permits is also something we will talk about it later. But like I said, we'll do our best to sympathize with the people so far. We've not slept since 10 a.m. Myself, in well because I also tested malaria positive. As I'm speaking to you, I'm at Kolebu currently receiving treatment. And so it's a shared responsibility we now have to carry. In fact, today, when I look at people coming over, fisher folks, market women, every citizen was ever ready, to support. And so salvaging people's property and helping people, for who are trapped in their house, who are houses that are submerged. People even went as far as bringing ladders, to climb, to bring the people that you could see that to their... And it's a shared responsibility. And so we all come back to the drawing board, knowing very well that this is wrong, and we have to, do away with that. But yes, Accra will be safe from flooding.
Just before I let you go, where will the displaced sleep tonight? Have you made any arrangements for them?
We've spoken with a lot of churches who they've given us their churches, principles as really SDA, a lot of churches. So that is where we're putting them. As I'm speaking to Nagbo, I've given them, they gave them breakfast, them lunch, and we'll be sure that take care of them, them to go to their areas.
Do you know the number of people we are dealing with now, those who have been displaced?
I don't have the figure because a lot, depending on the area. And so we have from each district. And so I can't give the numbers that there are a lot of people are involved as I've stated.
We are grateful for your time. Lindo Klu is the Greater Accra Regional Minister. Let's go back to the grounds. Ramat Bashiru reports from Seko. Earlier, we told you about the fire incident. Firefighters were struggling to get access to that particular area where the incident occurred to be able to douse the blaze because of the flooding situation leading to that particular area. Ramat Bashir is there for us. Ramat, what's the situation now at Seko? So we're working the lines to get to Ramat Bashiru, but earlier we told you that it was an incident, the fire incident at Seko, and firefighters were called in. They were struggling to get to that particular area where the fire started because of the flooding situation there, and so they had to use, the firefighters had to use boats and others just so that they can get to the root cause of the fire incident and be able to douse the blaze. We're working the lines to speak to my colleague Ramat Bashiru, who is at Seko at the moment, to give us a situational report at Seko at the moment. But we know that a number of places in the Greater Accra region have been flooded. We are told Chado, some children, 18 of them were rescued, a number of them adults as well, rescued and taken to safer places. And Klagon, Wager SCC, Maxwell Agbaba gave you that report where in the last 30 minutes at the time he was reporting, the traffic situation had eased and vehicles were moving one after the other. But we have also been speaking to the Greater Accra Regional Minister, who tells us that the church has been involved. So those who have been displaced, they are giving them some places within the church to be able to pass the night. Let's work the lines again and try and speak to Ramat Bashiru, who is reporting from Seko. Ramat, can you hear me?
Can hear you. I'm right here at Odona Rubber Factory. Behind me, you can see many of the people here are gathered here. We have the firefighters, including police officers, who have been here since morning to try and rescue those who are trapped in there, especially by the fire incident and also the flood waters. We've had the firefighters around, the police service, they are still around. Now, their main focus, I spoke to them, is that they are just trying to rescue as many people as they can, because as it stands now, the roads leading to where that particular spot the fire incident is happening is completely submerged. And so that is what you can see in your shots that they are trying to do. They are trying to move the boats in there to get the people who are trapped in their homes by the flood waters. As you can see, many of them have already left their homes. They are out because they need protection around, and that's exactly what the firefighters, together with police officers, we have the marine police who are also on the ground monitoring the situation. Now they've been able to rescue about a number of them here. We've seen many of them who are crying, counting their losses, saying that they've lost several items. When we got here, we spoke to a woman who says that she is into hairdressing. All her items have been destroyed. Many of them are still counting their losses. However, no incident has have been recorded. I'm trying to see if I can speak to the Member of Parliament for Clotte College. She's been on the field since morning, monitoring the situation. Honorable, we are live on Joy News. You've been here since morning. What can you say about the situation so far?
It's devastating, but everybody's been getting involved. We had the fishermen coming in from Osu with their canoes, and they've been very instrumental in helping in the rescue efforts. We have some of the young guys in Odona Sahara who have also been helping. And then, of course, after that, the 48 engineers, the Marine Police, the Ghana Navy, and NADMO as well as the Ghana National Fire Service have all been working together to actually try and rescue as many people as possible. Unfortunately, the fire that's raging in the market is inaccessible to the fire service, so it's just out of control. But for now, we don't know whether there's been any loss of life at the particular location where the fire is. So,
how many people have they been able to rescue so far?
Oh, I lost count. I've actually lost count. I've lost count.
Let me also engage the MC of Clote Kole. Honorable, you're also welcome to Joy News. We've been here since morning monitoring the situation. The people who have been rescued so far, what's next for these people?
For those they've rescued, we'll try and get some relief items to them, assess their condition in their state, and see the help we could give to them.
Now, many of them, we spoke to them, they said their major concern now is where they will lay their head, not necessarily the relief item. And so what's their plan for them?
We are arranging with the Methodist school just opposite us here as a safe haven for them. We are trying to arrange for mattresses. If we could get them this evening, that would be fine for us. But I want them to stay there for the time being, so we see the water receding and they can get back.
How soon are we also ensuring that the fire that we can see ahead of us is brought under control?
That's a very dicey question. The fire service has been there already, but they don't have access because the water is surrounding the entire place, and the attendant cannot go there and they cannot get into the place to quench the fire. We are only waiting that the water will recede and they can get access to do that. So once we get the water receding, we'll get the attendant machines there, and then we'll see how we can quench the fire.
And so now their focus is just to bring the people who are trapped?
Who are trapped in there. Those who are unable to come, we are trying to get them out of the place and are willing. But there are some people there that are not willing to come for reasons we don't know. But those who are willing to come, we are picking them up and bringing them upstream.
Interesting accounts over there. Earlier this morning when we got here, all these places were completely full. The place was submerged. We are unable to even come and to this extent to speak to some of the people and the service people around here. But it's a very serious situation on the ground. The water, however, is receding, but that particular road leading to where the blaze is now is inaccessible. Even the firefighters together with the service personnel are unable to get to that spot. And so we are trying to engage more of them, but they try bringing more boats so that they can get in there and also help the people who are trapped in their homes, who are willing. Because I must say, when I spoke to the MC, he tells us that there are others in their homes who do not want to come. And so these are the boats that you can see in your shots. So we would want to engage more and more of them, but they are just trying to bring in more of the items just so a lot of people who are trapped there will be released. Mommy Patrol, Memo Akwa Joy News.
ana me di o makogu bebi a meme o mo di kanu ne de me ba ya bi bia sensuo ne de ya amfa de kura na ni pakura wu sesi amikase wo honum amikase sesi e
toni panu we wu we hefa
fi se ye ben fi se me kwa mani anwo o sane no mu abansoro so no na tietie mu a ye wo mo chi nina me so abansoro bi honum na me de me ma no tokuro bi ho na me de o mo agum ene me nana no ma ye o mo di kanu no be fa o mo so mo ntimi nwura ho
nipa ni nsuo ne na afa no
nsuo no
oyo ba na bema oye
me mani ehun wonyo mabusuani
why ne wo we emphasis am no
omo we be ete no
Okay, and so this is a woman here. She says that she's lost everything and she's reporting to us that one person is dead, the person is close there. However, we cannot confirm these things now. And so we are still here monitoring the situation. They are still here monitoring the situation as to whether that person is dead. We cannot confirm, we cannot substantiate those allegations. Now, but as you can see in your shots, the firefighters, they are trying as much as possible to get closer to the particular spot where the incident is happening. Major things happening here on ground. There is a cylinder blast, the noise of a cylinder that has just blast that we just heard it just exploded. We just heard in our shots here, and we also see the situation on the ground. Many more people are just here. Like I said, it's been close to 6 hours, and so they've rescued some people, and also, as we can see, they are trying as much as possible to get them here. I mean, earlier when we got here in the morning, this place was completely full. We could not even stand at where we are now to get you the visuals or these possible images we are seeing in our shots. And so that's exactly what's happening here. A lot of people here, very stranded, some confused. I mean, the really devastation situation here. We spoke to them. They tell us that their major concern is that they are afraid this thing do not go out of hand, so they experience what they experienced 11 years ago. I must say that where the particular incident is happening, we have just about 5 or 6 buildings away from where the June 3 disaster occurred, and so they are very, very concerned here. They are worried, and then they are just hoping that the situation do not escalate. And so these are many more of the residents who have come out here, and we will try and engage many more of them to understand how they feel about this situation. Me patrol o ahabi patran hifa na wote na asem we atom o me dem inside was meti ase by inso we ye hu bi sada wase ba ntenda de ye ho wase etumi aba ha nyina patrol oni ma nina e wo ho a ma say ye no de ase panson bebre akoye dem eyimbe kwa enim bebi a ebetumi adamu ye ma say. As we speak, do we have more people stuck in their rooms? Yes. Okay, so she says that she's lost several items. Most of her things are destroyed. She just had to look for a place so she can go and keep her kids. But as we can see in our shots, they are just trying to rescue more and more people, and then so these are people they just rescued, and so they are trying to bring them out. And let's engage many more. Mommy, for how long? Anna, waka baby or my befa we free sesia?
Oh, fiti anopa nyina de na ye wo honom. Enti no sesia na yeso ya nya adoma o ma ba be yi afiri mu sesia. Nyesa fiti ahomache be 5 to 6 na ye wo honom. Sesia afi no manya ye. Enti anopa no enti e ba ne san no na hefa na wo. Oh, ye fie ra na anopa de oboae ono wo abronsan surunti ode ye etina ne nchen. Nti se anso ne ye no mo se ne sa de ye nyina ye mpia. Omo so ma ba ye adoma omo twi ye pie. Nti embi mo omo de omo ba. Nti baby ana wo na mo ye nipa ba ye sen na mo wo ho no. Oh, ye doso. Enu kura ma ba ko hwere ne nkwa. E wo ho no ma. Nti o try se okọ boa ne maame. Nti o patrito mu. Nti afeso no mo so mo wie so o mehwehwe ono so. Afi no mo hwehwe nipa ne wo. Unim nipa no. Oh, minim no. Wani hu se o to nsuo ni. Me gina ho se ya o ade ne se ye no. Ono ohun se ebian obetima try akọboa ne maame so satam so no ma yi ne maame no onim enti o to mu no e na de ndi ne pie ba akọ mienu miensa no e na wamba bi bema wansan oh your friend me Asia. Okay, so this is what Asia can tell us now. She says that for her they've been able to, she's thankful that they've been able to come out from that situation, but she can also tell us that one person is dead, but those are some of the claims that we are yet to substantiate, and then we are also trying to get more of the people they've been able to rescue so far. And so this is the situation here. We are still monitoring. Rescue operators are still doing their best to ensure that they rescue more of the people who are trapped.
But when I spoke to the MC, he tells me that there are people still in their homes who are not willing to be rescued, and it will be interesting to hear from them why they are not willing to be rescued, because this is a serious situation, I must say, on the ground. And so you've been on the ground for some time. I mean, when I came around in the morning, I also saw you. What can you tell us?
Like I can speak Chingo.
Go ahead.
Now your fina omufre say isuato we Sahara Park on 20 the from sebe 10 ye ba say when I say wampa nipa go and I go 20 yes we boy umodi and I yi dia betimi ayi e wo nsuonum enti no.
Okay, so these are some of the accounts we are getting from eyewitnesses and some of the affected victims here. And so this is the situation. It's very dire here. Like I said, they are unable to go to the exact place the incident, the fire is happening, so they are able so that they can be able to bring the blaze under control. However, their main focus now is protecting lives, and so more boats are coming in, life jackets. We have the police officers, marine police, firefighters, together with other members of parliament and other government officials here on the ground to ensure that people who are trapped are brought out so they can also be saved. But the MCA says that people are not willing to come out, and so that is an issue of concern. The presiding member of the Klote municipality is also here. I've been here with him since morning. Hello, sir. For those who are not willing to come out, they are trapped there. What can we do so these people are? Because looking at the situation, it's not safe for anybody, is it?
It's not safe actually, but it's rather unfortunate that you go there trying to rescue people and they're telling you that they are safe. It's just like a safe haven, and then they are telling you that all that they need is food. And I think that looking at what is going on, the best thing is for you to be rescued, and then we'll get you something. You cannot say that you'll be there. You get me right? You can say you'll be there whilst we have a situation at hand. It's rather unfortunate. We are pleading with them to come out, and then when they come out, whatever needed to be done, they assemble with my madam. Everybody will come together to ensure that whatever is due, everybody will get something. Thank you very much. And so, as we understand, they've called for an ambulance. We do not really know the exact situation, but there is a casualty. It's confirmed that there's a casualty. We've lost one guy. It's confirmed. So we are yet to look at the actual thing. Now we can say on authority. We are saying we can say it on authority that there is a casualty.
Now they finally confirmed to us. What's the casualty?
We've lost a life.
One person?
That is what we can confirm as of now. His name is Alaji, so we can confirm. A very young person. But you could realize that I think at this side, most of the people that were rescued are all kids. The elderly, the adult that we rescue here are not much. But it's unfortunate. Losing one life even is unfortunate. So
unfortunately, one person is confirmed that. That's according to the presiding member of Klote municipality. And so that's exactly what's happening. They are trying to bring that person out so that it's been confirmed this person is an adult, I must say, unfortunately has lost his life due to the flood waters. And so they are trying as much as possible so they can put this person in the ambulance, and more rescue efforts underway. And as firefighters, marine police, and Ghana Police Service are trying their possible best to rescue more people who are trapped in there. And so the advice from the government officials here on ground is very simple, that come out if you are inside, because I must say they tell us that people are not willing to come out from their homes. And so this is the situation here. Mommy, patrol, then ekoso ewo ha say o fear aflade.
Me patrol ye fear ha no ne asi no ne oba beto ye no. Aha no nsuo na ayiri yen. Asese nyama bebere. Iti madawo mamomo ayen. Isi ene kwa ni baby kwa ebeda. Nsuo na badam ho abesese nyama bebere iti no. Ene ye hu baby kwa eba beda kwa ene. Ti madawo mamomo ayen.
And so this is what the people here are saying. This woman tells me that everything of her has been destroyed. There are more of the people, she says, that are still trapped in there. And so they will try as much as possible to bring those people out. But this has been the situation here. As you can see, it's more about the rescue efforts, more boats, more marine police service, soldiers, Ghana National Fire Service, together with other government officials on ground, and even strangers, ordinary Ghanaians, strangers, just trying to ensure that people are safe. And so that is what is happening here. Ordinary people, fisher folks, have joined the rescue operation.
Thank you very much. Ramat Bashiru, she is reporting from Odona, and in your shot you saw the emergency rescue agencies trying to rescue a number of the people who had been trapped there and bring them to safer grounds. You saw that in your shots. And the officials of NADMO, the police, the MCE, the MP, they're all there trying to help people and rescue them at Odona, but also the fire is raising. Now let's go to the phone line. We have Frederick Kujo. He's a meteorologist at the Central Analysis and Forecast Office at GMET on the line. It has been raining since morning. And welcome to the Pulse. It's been raining.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you.
4 hours. We've seen the devastation. What is the forecast telling you?
Well, a very good afternoon to all viewers. So we're anticipating that we'll be getting this rains right from yesterday to this morning. So the forecast that we issued right from yesterday, that is the evening forecast, the night forecast, this morning forecast, clearly captured the situation that we had for today.
Yeah,
it was
that's not much, but I'm sitting straight.
From Togo through to the eastern portions of our country, that is Volta region, some parts of the Accra region. And so this has caused heavy rains over most parts of the capital. Right from yesterday to this morning at 9, recorded about 160 millimeters, which is quite substantial to cause flooding activities. However, for the coming days for this week, we're expecting a relaxation in the rainfall activities. That is for tomorrow and then Wednesday. But then Thursday, Friday, Saturday through to Sunday, it's likely that they are going to get another rainstorm that will affect southern Ghana.
So from now till Wednesday, we should experience some ease in terms of rains, but on Thursday onwards, we are going to experience rainfall.
Exactly.
Right. And is the rainfall just limited to the southern sector?
Well, the month of June is actually the peak of the rains for the major rainfall season for southern Ghana, which is why we are currently having frequent rains for the coast and then the forest belt. However, as we move into the month of July, we expect that the transition belt through to the northern sector will also start experiencing frequent rainstorms and then heavy rains as well.
So are we expecting more, in terms of volumes, are we expecting more rains, or it's going to ease as the month ends?
Exactly. So we are expecting that the amount of rain as we enter into July will start reducing further or declining, because as we move into July, August, the frequent rains or the frequent rainstorms will now be more over the northern sector and then the transition belt.
And we're experiencing the situation, this rains in Accra. What about the other regions, Central region, Ashanti region?
Yes, so currently this rains that we had, as I indicated earlier, was a moving storm. Currently it is affecting the Ashanti region, some part of Akufo-Addo region. We are anticipating that it will continue moving westwards to affect some parts of Western North and then Western region later this evening and then into the night. So we advise that if you are moving from Greater Accra to any of these regions, you'll be very cautious on the road.
How severe will that be?
Yeah, so especially for Ashanti region, Bono East region, you're anticipating that the rains are going to be quite heavy, with frequent thundery activities as well as lightning activities as well. Some areas are likely to experience moderate to strong winds, especially in Ashanti region and Akufo-Addo regions.
Back to the Greater Accra region, we have seen the levels today, the volumes of water. So you are saying tomorrow we shouldn't expect any rains, on Wednesday no rains, on Thursday?
Yeah, so what we are saying is that right from
we are losing you, Frederick.
Through to Wednesday, we are good. Yes, hello.
Can you hear me?
Hello.
Can you hear me? Frederick,
yes, I can hear you now. Please,
right.
Can you hear me?
Continue
yes,
with your points. Yes.
Your points. Yeah. Tomorrow and Wednesday, we're anticipating that, especially in the early hours of the morning and then later in the evening, we'll be getting more of slight rains, which is not so substantial to cause many severe flooding. But then Thursday, Friday, Saturday to Sunday is where we're anticipating that we are going to get another rainstorm that is likely to produce moderate to heavy rains for southern Ghana.
Right. Thank you very much, Frederick. Kujo is a meteorologist with the Central Analysis and Forecast team at GMET. We also have Alex Kinate from the Ghana Fire Service. Welcome to the Pulse. We have been reporting of 3 people dying in Alajo. What updates do you have on that for us?
Thank you very much for having me. So it's actually one person dead at Alajo.
Right.
And then 2 people, a mother and her child. The mother and her child who died at Alubushi around the Achimota New Plant area, and then 1 man also at Achimota Bufu.
So you can confirm 4 people. How many people can you confirm dead?
So as of now, I can confidently confirm 4 people. I confirm 4 people. A mother and a child, and then the mother and the child. I can confirm the mother and the child, the gentleman at Alubushi, and then the other man also at Alajo.
Okay, so that's the number of deaths we are recording as a result of the floods. But generally, even at Odona, we could see that your men are finding it difficult to get to the root cause of that fire incident. What have you been able to make any headway in getting to that particular spot to be able to douse the blaze? Hello, Alex. Do I still have you on the line?
Yes, I'm on the line.
Right.
As of now, the rain has subsided a bit, and so our men are steadily progressing to to make sure that the fire is totally extinguished.
Right, but what challenges are you facing now?
Accessibility has been the biggest challenge for us.
Accessibility has been the biggest challenge because of the flood water. So as it stands now, because the rain is going down and the flood is going down also, I think it's good for us to now proceed. Just that we have to remind ECG to keep the power supply in the area cut so that we can be able to adequately fight the fire.
So have you been able to gain access to that spot at Odona? Or you're still struggling to get there?
We are still struggling, but we are making progress. We are steadily getting closer.
Generally, the situation in the Greater Accra region, what can you say in terms of your assessment so far?
Well, the flooding situation has been very serious and it's outstretched our resources. But as a service, we are committed that irrespective of the challenges, we make sure that we are able to deliver and help anyone in distress.
What additional resources do you need?
Well, obviously, we need logistics. We need some new pickups so that we can be able to turn these pickups into rapid intervention vehicles in order to be able to quickly reach people.
Can you tell us the number of people you've been able to rescue so far, and will these rescue measures continue until when?
Well, the rescue mission, we rescued about 105 people at Chadu, and the rescue mission is still underway. I'll be able to give you a rough number roughly by the evening, but I can tell you that the people will be in excess of about 150 people so far.
150 people. Are there more people you need to rescue?
Yes, we are still at various locations, and before the close of the day, we should be able to get a clearer picture for you, please.
And which areas are these where you need to rescue more people?
So our men are at different locations at different times, and so I'm still gathering that information, and definitely by evening time I'll do well to share it with you.
Right. Thank you very much. Alex Kenati speaks for the Ghana National Fire Service. Let's take a break now. We are back with more. Please stay.
This house was once somebody's dream. A 3-bedroom home filled with family, laughter, kids playing around. But today, it's akin to an eco park. Weeds, plants, snakes. It's all falling apart. Join me on a journey to put this house in good shape. We need to bring this house back to life. Yes, we will. Let's do this.
In a world where truth is contested, platforms are powerful, and democracy is under pressure, what shapes the story? The University of Media, Arts and Communication, through its School of Journalism and Media Studies, invites you to the State of Journalism, Media and Communication Conference 2026. Theme: Navigating the Future, Journalism, Media and Communication in a Dynamic World. Join global thought leaders, including the Vice-Chancellor of UNIMAC, Professor Eric Opoku-Mensah, Rector Professor Christiana Hammond, and Professor H.A. Sikankun, Dean of the School of Journalism and Media Studies, Professor Gregory Gonwi, Associate Professor at California State University, Juliet Amwa, Country Director, Emerging Public Leaders, Ghana, Kunle Adebajo, Investigations Editor, Professor Abena Enimwa Yeboah-Bain, Dean, School of Information and Communication Studies, University of Ghana, and Ryan Kellett, 2025 Nieman Beckman Klein Fellow at Harvard University, for 2 days of powerful conversations on AI and the future of journalism, journalistic professionalism in Africa, media democracy and civic culture, fact-checking, misinformation and press freedom. Keynote speaker is Professor Christopher Rhodes of Harvard University and columnist with Al Jazeera. The conference chair is UNIMAG Vice Chancellor, Professor Eric Opoku-Mensah. This virtual conference will take place on the 15th and 16th of July 2026. Be a part of the conversation shaping the future of media.
That's our show for this afternoon. Log on to myjoyonline.com for more stories. My name is Gemma Appiah. Please stay safe.
PM Express, power is confronted, claims are tested, and accountability is not optional.
The first 2 months in office between January, February, and March, we had already brought down this rate, and then we have sustained it since.
Politics, business, the economy, social justice. If it affects your life, it will be examined. If it shapes your future, it will be interrogated.
You ever sitting there today and you see me sweating, I'm answering your question, you in the comfort of your chair putting all these questions to me. That is why you would not have the responsibility of bringing about this document.
No safe spaces for evasion, no comfort in half-truths, just facts, pressure, and the courage to stay with the question until the answer comes. Your word says,
my words were,
those on Compact Plus, you pay 570 and you get more channels.
Evans,
that moves you.
This is the speech.
To the
speech I read yesterday is what I'm holding here. You didn't read the speech. You didn't write it. I wrote it and I read it.
Because democracy demands scrutiny and the public deserves clarity. When the day's noise fades and the nation needs understanding, there is PM Express on Joy News. Independent, fearless, credible.